7 News at 11 starts now. Tonight on 7, fierce flames, sparking explosions.
Lives are going to be turned upside down because of this.
Smoke filling the air.
My house was full of smoke, closed all the windows.
A brand new building destroyed in Dorchester.
We are following this breaking news now at 11. A live look at the foamy scene in Dorchester. Crews continuing to battle hot spots. They're hoping the foam gets rid of the last of the flames after a massive fire ripped through a building under construction. So the fire has been burning now for more than 8 hours.
Tonight, crews are making sure every last hot spot is taken care of. Firefighters have been battling this fire all throughout the day. Not a single break. This was the scene around 3:24, about an hour into the fight. Smoke and flames all over that rooftop. The building was set to open in the next couple of weeks.
But then watch this. You can see the flames spread quickly. This video around 6:25 this evening shows also an explosive scene. Firefighters looking up at the massive fire and just trying to get it under control.
The scene dying down a little tonight. This video from around 8:30, just before 8:30, you can see the burned out roof and the hot spot still going strong.
And it's continued to burn into the night. This just after 9 o'clock. Crews still on the scene trying to gain total control over the fire. We have night team coverage from the fire investigation, which will also be coming, and to what people are now doing who were set to move into that building. And what about the neighbors? Well, let's get started with Justin Bork with the latest.
Well, guys, you mentioned all that foam over here. They've switched from water to this, and you can actually see just how light and fluffy it is, how easily it expands over here. So essentially what this does, it allows them to smother the fire, get extinguisher into kind of nooks and crannies that water otherwise wouldn't be able to get into. And that's a good thing. You can see behind me, there's still a lot of firefight to go, but the foam is working. And those Sky 7 HD shots that we've been showing, you can see a lot less flame than we had earlier today. But after this full day of firefighting, there's still a lot of work to be done.
Flames crackle and burn late into the night after a full-day firefight. These 125 firefighters scrambling for hours on Dorchester Ave as flames explode through a 6th-story roof.
It's just going crazy now.
This is a wood frame building too, so it's not exactly like the best kind of thing to have go on fire.
The brand new apartment building called Treadmark is right across from the Red Line's Ashmont T-stop. The lightweight web of plywood inside refused to go out. Firefighters desperately trying to react. As one fire went out, another took its place. The flames reaching new heights as a ventilation system on the roof began to sag, then collapsed inward.
In the size and scope of this building, it's nothing but a tinderbox.
Firefighters say the building was just a day away from having its fire systems inspected and turned on. They say without sprinklers, it's a miracle it's still standing.
If you look at this, it just took the top floor. As difficult as this was, if it traveled the entire length of the building, we'd have real problems.
The good news, firefighters say, is that there were few injuries. A couple firefighters with heat exhaustion or minor pains, and one construction worker with chest pains. But the building's future tenants, just a couple weeks from moving in, are left up in the air, while they wait to find out if any of this building can be salvaged.
Their lives are going to be turned upside down because of this, and it's sad.
Now, as for whether or not this building can be salvaged at all, that's really going to depend on the water damage. The water is going to do a lot of the damage, but the fire didn't get that low in the building, as the commissioner mentioned. So that's one good thing. The other big question is what caused this fire. That we're not going to know until probably tomorrow, maybe late afternoon. That's when they're going to be able to get investigators in and try to find that point of origin and really figure out what caused this day-long firefight to happen. We're live in Dorchester. Justin Bork, 7 News, Night Team.
Justin, quickly so we can stay on time here, and it seems pretty obvious looking behind you. How does it compare right now to what you saw out there earlier when you got on the scene?
Well, this is a far, far different scene. Actually, when we came out here earlier, the big issue they had out here was, yes, the fire, but also the building collapsing. In fact, when we got here, we were pushed back a few times because they had to establish a perimeter for that collapsing building just in case. When we first talked to the commissioner at 5:15, that was his big concern. We did see that HVAC system explode on the roof and fall into the center of the building, but so far, that seems to be the worst of it. In fact, the last time we spoke with the commissioner a little after 8 8 o'clock, he sounded a lot more confident in the firefight. Obviously, there were still flames at the time, but that big fear of the building collapsing has subsided somewhat. I'm not saying it won't happen. It's still obviously a chance, but the fact that they've switched to foam here, the fact that they're getting these flames contained at least a little bit is definitely a good sign, but they will be out here all night long fighting this fire. Guys?
Justin Bork, thank you. And the Ashmont community of Dorchester is covered in a cloud of smoke tonight. You can just see how hazy it is, and neighbors will be dealing with the aftermath of this massive fire. Alex DePrado continuing our night team coverage live in Dorchester.
Kim, you can see the cloud of smoke still in the distance here in Dorchester. In fact, the people across the street in the building with the white light at the top have been ordered not to go home tonight. The smoke simply too intense there. In addition, the neighborhood just east of here also inundated with smoke. Firefighters told people to stay indoors. The choking smoke inundated neighborhoods as it blew east. Some used T-shirts to keep from breathing in the toxic air.
I was, on the phone a lot during the day, didn't really notice, and all of a sudden I realized that my house was full of smoke, closed all the windows.
Firefighters walked the streets to take air quality readings and to tell people to stay inside.
I really don't want to be here. The smoke's pretty nasty. Okay. So I'm out doing some air quality with some of my hazmat guys.
But the Ashmont T station was shut down and some buses were canceled, which forced many into the streets and into the thick blanket of smoke.
I was just coming on the bus and they stopped us before Ashmont, just trying to find a way home.
Peter Tata lives in the building directly across from the fire. The heavy smoke poured into the building, too dangerous for him to go home. He left a window open.
Which then I arrived here and they won't let you pass the yellow tape, and I'm a resident that lives in the building across the street.
But some snuck out quickly. Bentley simply had to go.
He's got to do his business, so.
Now, if you take the T tomorrow morning, the Ashmont T station will likely be shut down. A firefighter told me a short time ago they expect that station to remain closed through tomorrow morning. In addition, if you live in the neighborhoods around Dorchester Avenue, specifically to the east of here, you should keep your windows and doors closed. As you can see, there is still plenty of smoke in the air. Live in Dorchester tonight, I'm Alex DePrado, 7 News Night Team.
So we know that the Ashmont station is closed, Alex, but we see people walking behind you like there's still a lot of foot traffic out there tonight. Is that because they're curious or because they're trying to get home on the buses that have been provided?
Plenty of people are just curious, but again, the Ashmont T station is closed, Kevin. So, I'm sorry, Adam. So what has happened is that plenty of people are walking tonight or trying to get the bus to their next location to try to catch the next, to try to get to their next stop. So that is the reason many people are out in the streets tonight.
Makes sense. Alex, thanks. And the fierce flames causing an explosive scene. As we look at this piece of video, buyers ready to move in by next month. Their new homes now a total loss. It's pretty heartbreaking when you put yourself in their shoes. We're hearing from a couple who was set to move in, and they were watching this video along with us earlier. Here's Kiki Wenzel continuing our live coverage from Dorchester. Kiki?
Adam, yes, a really tough day for a lot of these people who are counting on moving into this building here behind me. Now, we just saw a hot spot crop up just a few minutes ago, but it looks like firefighters have that under control. Been seeing, obviously, a lot of smoke pouring out of this building tonight. And I did talk to that local couple earlier today over the phone, and they told me that they are devastated by the news today.
We're thankful that nobody had moved into the building yet, since it was just supposed to close in a couple of weeks.
Stephanie Janes and Ken Perry say they watched in disbelief as the Treadmark building went up in flames. The couple says they just put $20,000 down on a unit ravaged by today's fire.
It looks like the air conditioners collapsed basically right where our unit was. I mean, it's really terrifying.
They say they're thankful no one was hurt, but wonder what the future holds.
Our next question is sort of, what's next for us and the other people who are supposed to buy or rent in this building.
We're also concerned about our down payment for the condo to hold the condo, and whether the builder's insurance will cover the damages.
The developer developer Trinity Financial released a statement tonight, in part saying those who were inside the building, which was still under construction, were immediately evacuated. The Boston Fire Department is working tirelessly, and we are so grateful for their efforts. We are fully committed to making sure this project gets rebuilt as quickly as possible. And it looks like they will have a lot of rebuilding to do as we continue to look at the developing situation here. And the developer telling me over the phone tonight there were 83 units in this building. 28 of them were under contract. Reporting live in Dorchester tonight, Kiki Venzel, 7 News Night Team.
So we continue to cover this massive fire in Dorchester. And in fact, a short time ago during our 10 o'clock news, we spoke with the state fire marshal, who gave us a brief preview into what he expects firefighters will work to do next.
It appears as though that they have the fire at least in check, so that it's a matter now of determining whether it's safe and how they can safely access areas to completely extinguish the fire that might be in concealed spaces or areas where collapse has taken place. So there's a lot of work yet to be done for sure.
Again, part of our conversation with the state fire marshal earlier, he said firefighters will also be monitoring the air quality to protect both those people and the people who live nearby, and the safety of the firefighters, of course, themselves.
Of course, the weather is always a factor in a firefight. No rain tonight, but some wind feeding the flames, blowing the smoke. Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Reiner joins us with more on that.
This afternoon, we did have those winds out of the west, 15, occasionally gusting 20 miles per hour, adding oxygen into the fire. That was a concern. The winds have since backed off, but the problem with that is that it does not allow for that smoke plume to be dispersed, and typically at night it is more difficult to disperse a smoke plume because the air doesn't move as much. So this is where the fire was through much of the day, and again, that plume was heading off to the east, as Alex noted in his report, but over the last 2 or 3 hours the winds have actually shifted to the southwest, and now that plume will also respond and hang out in these vicinities here to the northeast of the T-stop right there. And we do anticipate that wind to pick up through the day tomorrow, especially mid-morning, which will be good in the sense that it starts to mix up the air. But you know, you heard the fire marshals say that they do have the fire in check, so added wind tomorrow is not going to bring the fire back, but if anything, it helps to clean out the air as we work through the morning hours. Increasingly warmer and more humid in southern New England. More on that in a few minutes.
JR, thank you. And of course, we'll continue to bring you the latest breaking details out of Dorchester. We know the Ashmont station will be closed in the morning. We'll get updates on when that might reopen. Today in New England begins at 4:30 a.m. right here on the news station.
All right, Justina, we are following more news here tonight. Coming up next, a little boy found safe and sound, a father charged with kidnapping his son. The child reunited with his mother tonight.
Then a monument destroyed. A man with a temper said to be behind the destruction.
And a frightening fall, a toddler tumbling out a window. Witnesses reliving the terrifying moments in Framingham.
And of course, we'll continue to follow the news out of Dorchester. That building under construction, up in flames. Foam now being used to get it out. They've been fighting it for more than 8 hours. A live look at the scene right now, and we'll have the latest here on the news station. We will continue to follow this breaking news out of Dorchester. A live look, still plenty of fire trucks there. The ladders are up and the firefight continues in Dorchester.
All right, and moving on tonight, we have this.
Also from the night team, an alarming attack.
He was assaulted and basically punched in the face.
A child kidnapped.
I'm scared for the child. I'm like, oh my God, you know, I'm not sure who took him.
Found safe and sound.
That child reunited with his mother tonight. He was found safe and sound after police say his father kidnapped him from his home in Plymouth.
Officers tracked down the father in Lynn. He is facing some serious charges tonight. Night Team's Kimberly Bookman is live in Plymouth with the details.
Yeah, Kim, this is where it all started. This is where police say that little boy was kidnapped from his Plymouth home. He was taken more than 50 miles all the way to Lynn, where 2 alert police officers found him.
Back in his mother's arms, 3-year-old Kyrie Taylor had quite a day. Police say he was kidnapped by his own father, couldn't be found for almost 3 hours, and prompted a statewide search.
I believe the officers on the street actually observed the vehicle after the bolo was put out for the plate and the type of vehicle that it was.
Lieutenant Michael Kimmick held the toddler's hand and brought him into the Lynn police station after 2 police officers found him in the back seat of this SUV on State Street in Lynn. The boy's dad, 25-year-old Rospa Randy Taylor, was taken into custody.
This is not Randy. There's something had drastically have to happen for him to do this extreme to do something. He's a good kid. He's a hard-working kid.
Plymouth police say it all began when Kyrie's dad, who does not have custody of his son, showed up at the Algonquin Heights housing complex around 9 a.m. with two other men looking for the little boy. The chief says he had a fight with his ex.
She was assaulted and basically punched in the face. She did not require any medical intervention at all. We prepared the information and we requested the Amber Alert.
An Amber Alert was never officially issued, though state police say they were just about to make that move when the child was located safe and sound in Lynn, where his dad has ties. Now, Kyrie's dad is behind bars at the Plymouth police station, while the boy and his mom returned home to their apartment.
The mother was a custodial parent. That man had no right assaulting the mother or kidnapping the kid. I think it's a disgrace.
And DCF says they are aware of the situation and they are working with law enforcement. As for Dad, he is going to face 3 charges in court tomorrow, including kidnapping. Reporting live from Plymouth, Kimberly Bookman, 7 News, Night Team.
Also from the Night Team, a frightening fall in Framingham, a toddler tumbling out of a 3rd-story window. The 3-year-old girl rushed to the hospital after this dangerous drop. Amaka Ubaka live in Framingham with the latest on the girl's condition tonight. Amaka?
Well, Adam, that little girl has serious injuries. She was taken by helicopter to Boston Children's Hospital. Now, neighbors tell me that this all unfolded very quickly. She landed right here in this driveway after falling almost 30 feet.
A 3-year-old girl takes a terrifying fall out of this open 3-story window. A 30-foot drop onto the driveway.
Traumatizing to see that and to see the aftermath of something like that.
Sarah Taylor was on her porch when all of a sudden she heard screaming and crying. She rushed across the street to help, and by that time the girl's aunt was already outside. Taylor believes the girl fell headfirst out the window.
And she moved the girl from her face to her back, and I was talking to her and I said, get me something, and I'm trying to just put pressure there.
Taylor tried distracting the little girl from the pain.
And I'm trying to just keep her occupied because she really just wanted her mom. She was crying her foot hurt and that there was blood on her hands.
I saw a black shadow just like, I don't know, it came down.
Johan Gonzalez was inside next door and says he heard the impact.
And I saw like a shadow, it was like a black shadow, and it hit the window. And then she fell. It was like a thump. It was like, I don't know, it was hard.
The 3-year-old was taken by helicopter to Boston Children's Hospital. Firefighters say she has a fractured right leg, a head injury, and bruising. As police investigate how this little girl fell, Taylor, a mother of 5, says she's hoping for the best.
And I hope that the little girl's okay, and I pray for her and I pray for her family.
Now, along with police, DCF is also investigating. They actually just left the street a couple of minutes ago. They were here to talk to that little girl's aunt who was here when all of this unfolded. Of course, we'll keep you posted on their investigation. For now, we're live in Framingham. Amaka Ubaka, 7 News 19.
The man found guilty in the death of baby Bella could spend the rest of his life behind bars. A judge sentencing Michael McCarthy to life in prison with the eligibility of parole in 20 years. He's accused of killing the toddler and dumping her body in the Boston Harbor. Convicted. Her biological father speaking to the court in front of his daughter's killer today.
Bella was a gift from God whose life was cut short at such a young age. But Bella was, still is, and always will be in my heart and soul. I was robbed of my chance to be a father to Bella. No verdict changes that, and no justice on earth fixes that grief.
Bella's mother has made a plea deal, and her sentencing will be held early next month.
Also on 7, part of Boston's Holocaust Memorial destroyed. Police say a man lost his temper and threw a rock, shattering the glass. So that's a section of the memorial left in pieces. Police say they're not investigating this as a hate crime. Night Team's Ryan Schulteis explains why.
This is a reminder of what happened to our families.
A panel of glass from the New England Holocaust Memorial lay in pieces. On it, the identification number of thousands of victims of Nazi concentration camps. 92-year-old Izzy Arbeiter, who survived those camps, showed us the number tattooed on his arm.
18,651.
He helped build the memorial in downtown Boston, 6 towers to remember the 6 million Jews killed during World War II. Arbeiter believes his number was on the panel shattered by a rock early this morning.
You know, I lost my entire family in the Holocaust, in Auschwitz, in Treblinka. I was in Auschwitz myself.
Boston police say around 1:30 this morning, a witness heard 21-year-old James Isaac arguing with a group of people and saw him throw the rock. He was arraigned on charges of malicious destruction of property and willful damage of a memorial. The judge revoked Isaac's bail on a prior assault case. His girlfriend left court without commenting. At the memorial, leaders of the Jewish community, along with Boston Mayor Marty Walsh, spoke out.
And as a city, we stand with the Jewish community.
And vowed to repair what was broken.
Resilience is what makes us, the Jewish people, us, the city of Boston, us, the American people, truly great.
When the memorial was built in 1995, extra panes of glass were created in case something like this happened, and one of those panes will be used to replace the one that was damaged. In the newsroom, Ryan Schulteis, 7 News 19.
A member of the Boston Police Department facing some troubling charges tonight. Sergeant Detective Bruce Smith is accused of violating federal law. Investigators saying he lied to federal officials so he could fly armed on personal trips and allowed a friend to board a flight without going through airport security. So this quote from court paperwork: Smith was not on official police business on any of these 28 occasions. Moreover, on every occasion in which he flew armed, Smith falsely claimed to have obtained supervisor approval for his travel. Boston Police Commissioner William Evans issued the following statement: "The allegations contained in the complaint are troubling to me. I hold my officers to the highest of standards and expect that they conduct themselves in a truthful and professional manner, both on and off duty."
Now, 7 weather with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Reiner.
Temps in the 50s and 60s right now. 69 in town, Plymouth at 63. Dew point temps still relatively low. Comfortable air mass across southern New England, so no warmth or stickiness coming into the apartment or the house overnight tonight. However, that's going to change in the coming days. You see these clouds over here back toward New York and Pennsylvania. That's out in front of our next weather system, a warm front, which is the leading edge of the heat and humidity. Temps tonight with clouds on the increase, 55 to 63. Morning commute, if you have one. Again, a lot of clouds through the morning hours with a hint of humidity by 9 a.m. Temps moving through the 60s and into the low 70s. And here is where that front is tonight. And this is causing a ruckus back through the upper Midwest with numerous thunderstorms and tornado watches in the Chicagoland area. So this weather system presses east. I'm not worried about severe weather tomorrow in New England, but out ahead of the front, you notice a lot of clouds. And so I think tomorrow will certainly feature a fair amount of cloudiness. And then eventually, as the front moves east, it'll grab this higher humidity with it and pull it into New England by the end of the week and for much of the holiday weekend. So tomorrow, again, a lot of clouds with some sun in the afternoon. There could be an evening shower in New Hampshire as that warm front gets closer, but essentially it's a dry day, 76 to 83. It's a decent beach day, but I would focus the attention south. I think the seacoast, you're going to have a cloudy day. Metro Boston, it becomes partly sunny, and then I think the South Shore and the Cape, the South Coast, the brightest locations tomorrow for the beaches. Temps 70s and low 80s. High tide not till late in the day at 4:34 in the afternoon. Red Sox back at it tomorrow night. Warmer with a fair amount of clouds out there, but I think you're rain-free tomorrow night. Temps in the upper 70s. And for Friday, here is the heat and the humidity. Mostly sunny skies, a few clouds in the afternoon. There may be an isolated shower or storm Friday afternoon, but again, the key word there is isolated. And the U.S. Senior Open Golf Championship gets underway tomorrow at the Salem Country Club. The first of 4 rounds. Thursday, again, clouds and sun. Friday, it's hazy, hot, and humid with temps on Friday close to 90, and that will be the case into the upcoming weekend, as well as anywhere else you may be across southern New England. Saturday, I think you're storm-free. That's a hot one. Temps in the low 90s with humidity, making it feel even hotter. Sunday, there could be some scattered showers and storms, but it's not washed out. And then much less humid for Monday and Tuesday. Right now, the 4th, looking fantastic. Have a great night.
That's good news, Jeremy. Thank you.
Stay with us. Sports is next.
And now, time for 7 Sports with Joe Amorosino.
The Red Sox Sox grasp on first place in the AL East, not exactly firm. The Sox with some slippage at Fenway tonight against the Twins, opening the door for the Yankees to reclaim a share of first place. Rick Porcello tagged for 4 runs in 6 innings. Minnesota jumped out early on Porcello. Top of the first, Big Miguel Sano rips that 2-out double into the left field corner. Joe Mauer scores. It was 1-0 Twins. Next batter is Max Kepler, who picks a perfect place to drop a bloop single. Sano rumbles home. Minnie grabbing a quick 2-0 lead. After the 3rd inning, Porcello appears to have an issue with his pitching hand, a blister perhaps. He'd stay in the game, and Kepler was glad he did. Top of the 6th, he leaves the yard with a man on, the 17th home run Porcello's allowed this year. He gives up 4 earned in 6 innings. Sox would get one back in the 7th and had a chance to pull even closer, but Taylor Rogers sets down Mitch Moreland here to end the threat. Sox stranded 11 base runners, 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Not much going their way tonight. And in the 8th inning, Heath Hembree loses his footing covering first base, gets trucked by Mauer. He was fine, but the Sox stumble as a team, and they lose it 4-1 the final tonight. All right, Celtics draft class spending some time with some kids at the Orenburger School in West Roxbury, but soon they'll be hitting the books on their basketball education with the Summer League set to start next week. Number 3 overall pick, Jason Tatum, can't wait to dive in.
It's great. I'm excited. I can't wait. I haven't played a game since, my last game at Duke. So just to be able to compete and, play 5-on-5 and, put on that jersey again is going to be fun.
Clippers and Rockets starting the summer with a bang, working out a deal to send Chris Paul to Houston in exchange for a package of 7 players, a first-round pick, and cash. We pair him with the 9-time All-Star James Harden. All right, Phil Jackson. The Phil Jackson era is over in New York. The Knicks parting ways with their team president after a disastrous 3-year stretch that saw them go 80-166, including the worst season in franchise history in 2014. And the Bruins agreeing to a 2-year deal with Noel Acciari, keeping the gritty restricted free agent forward for $1.45 million. That's Sports Tonight, team. We'll be right back.
Final update on the breaking news out of Dorchester and what we know tonight. This is video from earlier. A building under construction goes up in flames. The Trademark building set to open in a couple of weeks, destroyed by this fire. Started around 2:30 this afternoon, sparked explosions and sent black smoke up into the air. It's burning into the night. The flames still going, but mostly a lot of smoke. They seem to really finally be getting it under control. The nearby Ashmont T-stop, though, shut down, and we're told that it'll remain closed until the morning. What time in the morning, we're not sure just yet.
We will keep you posted on that. And now a live look at the neighborhood and the firefight. Crews using foam now to try to get this completely out. They will remain there throughout the night to make sure that it is. You can see that there's still a lot of smoke and it's still an active scene. And we'll be there all night as well. Today, New England will have the latest details beginning at 4:30 a.m. right here on the news station.
Time's up for us here at 11. Thank you so much for getting your news from us tonight. It's been a pleasure. I'm Adam Williams.
And I'm Kim Casey. Have a safe tomorrow. Good night.